A run through the Spring Valley with a automobile, and Charlie Bauer is driving, and we're going to go at a slow rate so we can videotape the present buildings and the street and the road, which I believe is now Pioneer Road, to get this on record. We did this yesterday, May 7th, but because of the weather, the clouds and so forth, it was kind of on the dark side. So we want to do it today, which is much better. So at this point we're heading into Spring Valley, and Charlie will be adding some audio of what his knowledge of the area was, and we'll continue right from here.
Well, we're going to wait a little bit until this car goes by, and then we're going to leave.
Okay, Charlie.
Oh, now we got a cement truck coming.
No problem. I'll put I'll pause on this one. There's a heritage sign here of Green Bay Ethnic Trail, and it's a Wisconsin heritage, and there is some information along the way here that we'll be also reviewing, but it is a ethnic trail, so it is a bona fide thing on the Wisconsin heritage roads. So Charlie will start her up and we'll do a slow pace.
You know, we didn't find out what this little creek is coming through.
That's
here.
right, we did not, huh? I don't know where this one really would originate. The one that is going through the village itself originates apparently from two forks, I believe, according to Ed Heckman. We're coming in from the northeast, and this road has had many numbers. It was at one time Green Bay Road, and then it was 42, and then it was County M, I believe, and now it's Pioneer Road. And Charlie, if you'd like to again add any information rather on this farm that's prior to Spring Valley.
I can't think of who lives here.
Okay, that's fine. But we'll just get it on the camera.
This is the first farm east of the little community of Spring Valley.
Okay. And the buildings off to the left are what, please?
That would be the new C.F. Heckman Company.
Okay. And it's run by?
Warren and Ed Heckman.
Okay.
I believe they're incorporated.
Okay.
And the sign is here on your right now.
All right. Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, and we'll proceed about 4 or 5 miles an hour just to give and we're mainly going to be taping the right side of the road. We'll be doing another pass through Spring Valley with the vehicle to get the opposite side of the road. And anytime you want to add something in, Charlie, please do so.
We're coming up to a T intersection here where
okay, if you can slow her down just a little bit.
This would be Spring Valley Road that comes into
Okay, I'm going to take the
into
side
Pioneer
shots.
here.
Okay, that's Spring Valley Road.
Right.
All right.
And that the green barn there, I believe, is original structure.
Okay, good.
But the house it's a new home here.
And do you know who owns that home?
This would be Vic Meyer's home.
Okay, and there was something. Was there something here like perhaps another home or
a great big white square house, and I believe that was one of the oldest buildings in the community.
Okay.
And I don't know if these trees that you're going to bypass right here on each side of the driveway, I think they're in one of Ed's original old pictures.
Okay. All right.
That hid the
home from the
hid the
aerial
grocery
view.
store. Yeah.
All right. Now there has to be something that had been missing here also.
This here would have been the spot where the tavern was located.
All right. And we're just opposite of the Heckman cheese factory at this point. Am I right here or wrong?
We're a little past there.
All right. And there's a lane.
This lane goes back to the old Cyple sawmill, I believe.
Okay, this is the one that, and I see a sign there, so I'm going to, if you can stop for just a minute, Charlie, I'm going to telephoto in on that sign that's there. Okay, and it indicates the words Waterhouse. And, I don't know if that's the name of the person back there.
I think it's got something to do with the house is located next to the water.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
I don't know if she's into crafts or...
All right. Okay, you can now proceed again, Charlie.
And we're coming over Meeme Creek.
All right.
And you can see part of Seifel's original homeway in the background there.
Okay, good. Can you stop right there? Perfect. Very good, Charlie. Thank you. Okay.
And we'll continue up the hill.
All right. Slower a little bit. That's the way to go. Get beyond these bushes a little bit.
Hedgerow here.
Yes, it is. Okay, nice large home.
I was trying to determine the style of these homes here, and I think most of them are nothing more than a two-story colonial.
All right.
This is a nice one here.
Yes.
The porch got screened in, but I'm sure originally the porch was an open porch.
Yeah. Very
It
good.
has a gable dormer on there that opens to a balcony.
Yes. It's very nice.
Have to spur the old horse up here a little bit.
If we only had an open buggy, that'd be nice.
Yes. And now we're coming up to the church's cemetery here,
Okay.
which is on the, I believe would be on the north side of the church.
North side of the church. Okay. And this is what name of this church again, please? St. James?
St. James, yes.
It is right. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, don't normally get that good. Okay, they have an addition here, which I think turned out wonderful. And it was mainly for handicapped people and other things. And maybe we'll move a little bit further down, and we'll stop and I'll take some shots of that by when we get to the sign, I believe that's there for us, by the parking lot area. Okay, good. That's good, Charlie. Thank you. And I'll do that. Now there's a cemetery, as Charlie said, in the north side and also on the west side. We're proceeding, I believe, out of Spring Valley as the village, I believe, right, Charlie?
Right, if you pan to the left, you can see the back of the Spring Valley sign on the left side of the road there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And we're coming up on a building here, and what was that, Charlie?
This was the old Meeme District number 2 school.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it had any other name besides District 2.
All right.
And this, I believe, is the second structure. The first structure that was here was a wooden structure.
Okay.
And this one was built in 1920.
Okay. Okay, again, this is the intersection where the old school is located. And there's something we'll look at out the school. I'll let Charlie proceed for a few feet here.
Just a couple feet.
And we'll catch that cement engraving, if you will, all over the entry door. And I'll let you know when I got the best shot there. This is good. Right there is perfect, Charlie. Thank you.
Can you get through the branches, or
I
should I
can,
pull ahead a
no,
little bit?
I can get right through there. Right through.
And I believe this is the school that Ed Heckman attended, this particular
This
building.
particular building, okay. District number 2, Town of Meeme, you're correct, 1920. All right, very good. If you'd like to proceed again, please.
And it is a one-room classroom.
Okay. And we got some farmland that's part of the road here. And what are we coming up on here, Charlie?
Now we're coming up to a residence here, a building that was moved into the area.
Okay.
And we determined that this was Peter Sexel's place.
Yes. And prior, and I indicated also I had some information in regard to the home that's there. That used to be my father-in-law's and mother-in-law's home on Highway C. And it was on their farm. And a new one was built, and this building was moved to this location. And I must say, Mr. Peter Sexel did a wonderful job with it. It looks very nice. And Charlie, there was something previously here. What was that?
Yes, if you notice on the western horizon there, way up on the hill, there's
Okay.
a cemetery back there, and that's the St. Fidelis Cemetery. At one time there was a church and a separate building which was a school, which included 1st grade till 8th grade.
Okay.
And I don't know when the parish dissolved, but the parishioners from this parish joined those at St. Isidore's in Osmond.
Okay. Okay.
But the two buildings were razored here.
Okay. And there's a path beyond the home, and I think there's a monument there also, so we'll get into that area.
The cedar trees there kind of mark the
lane.
road to the cemetery.
All right. Okay, if you can just stop for just a moment, I think that'll do fine. Looks, if I can read it, founded 1856, parish closed in 1960. And there was this marker donated by a number of families.
Yeah, I believe with this parish closing in 1960, that corresponds with the new school that was built at St. Isidore's in 1960.
Okay, I see. That's located immediately south here. And who would this be, Charlie?
This would be Marvin Kutz.
Okay.
And I believe before Marvin had it, his father had it.
Okay.
And there was a big red wooden timber frame barn here.
Oh, okay.
And that since is gone, I believe, or removed, and a modern building was built there.
Okay. All right, and continuing down Pioneer Road, we have an open area, and we're going to be coming to what crossroad, Charlie?
This is County XX West,
Okay.
which would have been the old 149.
All right.
And they do have another marker up here to indicate that this is the ethnic trail.
Okay.
And I think at one time this was part of the rustic road that the state of Wisconsin took care of.
Okay. I'll just catch this thing again. We're at the intersection here, and it's Pioneer Road, and again the ethnic trail is indicated. And across the road will be another sign.
Right, when we cross this road here, then we come into the little community of Meeme.
Okay, just a tad further. Continuing on still Pioneer Road, and there's a unique building coming up. Maybe Charlie can explain a little bit about that, since this used to be his mail route.
Yeah, we're coming up to one of the more historic buildings in the Township of Meeme, and the first one here would be the little polling house.
All right.
And the state did have enough foresight to make this a historic marker to preserve it.
Okay. Good enough, Charlie. Thank you. Okay. 1900 to 1983, when it was used. I'll take a view of the marker that's provided. The official voting place in the town of Meeme for 83 years was erected by Joseph Schwartz and Edmund Kolb in 1900. German immigrants and their descendants exercised their democratic right to vote in a simple wooden structure. The adjacent Meeme Haus, 1847, originally a stagecoach inn, served as the town's polling place in the 19th century. The Meeme Poll House closed in 1983, but curtain voting booths still remain in the interior, erected in 1998. Beautiful park here. And again, this was a stop for the stagecoach, we were told, and the people coming from Milwaukee, I believe, and heading for Green Bay. And they had rooms, I believe, upstairs for the passengers.
I'm going to point out some of the architecture features. If you look at the gable end there on the north side, if you follow it down from the ridge board,
okay,
you can see the frieze board or the Cornish board there with the nice wooden brackets they have on there.
Yes, I see that.
And then if you follow the camera around to the front of the building, in between the brackets you have the small dentile work.
Okay.
On the large frieze board that went the whole length of the porch there.
Yes. Oh, but doggone. I didn't see that the other day.
And you have a full-length porch in the front with wooden columns.
All right. And some people say it looks somewhat like what other building in the, not the immediate area, but around the area?
That would be the Wade House that's in Greenbush.
Okay, and there's some additional outbuildings as we travel along. What are they, Charlie?
The red building back there would have been here, I believe, as a stable for the people that would be spending the night here to stable their horses.
Okay.
And the grayer barn in the back there, I'm not sure what that was used for or when that was built.
Okay. Okay, and the present owner is known as the Schwartz and Sesslers. Apparently had something ownership-wise.
Right. We think Michael Hare was the first builder of it, and then it went to Schwartz, and now Mrs. Sessler has it.
Okay. Okay, I guess we can proceed a little bit there now, Charlie. There's some additional buildings here. Do you have any names for people that own this at all?
This particular building here, Mattie Schwartz lived in for many years.
Okay.
And I believe that is some sort of relation to Mrs. Sessler.
Okay. And then it looks like continuing south, like there's some larger industry here.
Right, this is one of the, I believe this is one of the biggest industries in the town of Meeme. And that would be B&B Metals.
All right. And they are a salvage company?
salvage of steel and smelters of aluminum, I believe.
Okay.
And they pick up stuff from all over.
All right.
I was told by Sally Burles at one time that her and her husband toured USS Cobra, the submarine that was in Manitowoc,
Yeah.
when it was put out for scrap bids. They actually put a bid on it to scrap the thing out.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And this particular company here did do the salvage of the crane of Noah's Ark down there, the Big Blue.
Oh yeah.
They
Big
went
Blue.
down, they got the bid on that to pick up that job and
Okay.
to pick up all the scrap and the crane that
Collapsed that time.
collapsed there, right, yes.
Okay. And again, this is owned by who?
This is owned by Robert Burles Sr. and Robert Burles Jr.,
Okay.
father and son.
All right. And we're still continuing on Pioneer Road and some buildings ahead of us on this curve.
Right, now if we just focus the camera just straight left of the buildings there,
Okay.
that's the way the old Green Bay Road went, right to the top of that hill there.
All right. Gotcha.
And so it kind of went east of that side of the house there.
Okay.
But this is the residence of Bob Burles Sr.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you can catch Bob Burles Jr.'s house, but it's in the
Oh,
background.
background,
In the
okay.
background back there.
That'll be a little difficult, but we'll try. There's some buffalo here too.
Right, that's one of his little hobbies.
Okay.
And he built a nice home way in the back there. It's a big sprawling complex,
Okay.
indoor swimming pool, and
Okay. Oh.
it's a big place.
Now this road that you say we're not really on the true Green Bay Road right now. We've diverted a little bit to our left.
Right. This is where the old 149 would intersect it right about where we made this curve here. That's where the two roads would originally came together.
Okay. All right.
And we'll just come up here to the stop sign, and that puts us back to the old Highway 42.
Okay. And this is looking what direction?
Now we're looking due east.
Okay. And this ends up at what village?
This would end up, this Pioneer Road kind of turns into County XX East, which takes you, as the sign says, there 4 miles, and then you're right into Cleveland.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, as Charlie mentioned, XX leads to Cleveland, going east right up to Lake Michigan. Heading back a little bit to the Spring Valley area, and Charlie has information on the building we see to our left here.
The building we see on the left here is Meeme School, and we're traveling west on County XX. And I don't know if there's a cornerstone on the school. I'm sure there is, so that would indicate what year it was built. And this is always referred to as the country school by the people that have kids in from 4th grade on down to 1st grade and kindergarten.
Okay, in the background we can see the Sessler's building. Now the trees have obliterated our view, but we're in the area. And Charlie indicated maybe because of the school closing, as we indicated coming out of Spring Valley, might have been for the kids that now presently go here too.
Right, and I did catch the cornerstone. That particular school out here was built in 1963.
Okay, good.
So
Good job.
in the early 60s, with the St. Fidelis Parish and the school being built in Osmond in 1960, and this one out here in 63, so it must have been a lot of things going on that particular time.
Right. And we're presently looking west, is that correct?
Yes, we're looking due west.
And now we're going to turn on to?
Pioneer Road, and then we're going to head back into our little valley.
Okay.
And we're going to kind of look at the east side of the road. This is nothing more than a dirt road. It wasn't gravel because horses didn't like gravel, so it was a dirt road.
All right.
And you can just kind of see how the thing just kind of wound around by each farmer, each resident, and just back on out.
They located the high ground and contacted the farmer areas. Okay, and as we travel along here on the east side, really never did get developed with anything. It is still farmland, and apparently was that way for a long time.
The village itself of Spring Valley it looked like it was framed by a farmer I would say on the south side, and then the farmer again on the east side, and the community was in between these two farms, it seems like.
Okay, and again we're looking at there's an old truck. There's
milk, I believe that was Ed Heckman.
Was it really?
Because there's no milk cans on the back of that truck.
That's right, that's his vehicle. Okay, great. Now this again is the school.
Old District Number 2 school.
Okay.
We got to find out later on in the day whether this school had a particular name, you know?
Yeah. Okay, and the unusual thing I noted about Spring Valley, is that you enter from a high level and you go down a hill to the bottom area where the creek or stream goes through, and then you go right back up again. So it's a village that was built sort of in a valley, and they named it appropriately Spring Valley because our information yesterday, Ed Heckman indicated there are a group of springs, I'd say a half a dozen if not more, in this entire village, and it is in a valley, so they named it appropriately.
Yeah, here, if you look right out the front, it looks like the road just drops off.
Right off, yes. Okay, this building on our east side is, just one second, Charlie, you can stop for a moment. Thank you. Okay, we've got a building here, and Charlie, have you got any information about this?
This building, we were told yesterday, was where the first congregation met for church services before they built the church.
Okay, very good. I guess you can continue now. But it is a gigantic home.
It is.
My goodness. Beautiful.
And now we're going downhill.
Okay, I'm going to take a shot of the view going down into the valley.
And then we have two homes here. I don't know who's got this one here, but the next one would be Warren Hecton's house.
Okay, that would be Ed's
older brother.
Older brother, okay. Another large home. Nice.
And he's built right next to the Meeme Creek or Meeme River. Okay. Some maps indicate it as a river, and some indicate it as a creek.
Okay. This building here was that right? That it's a blacksmith shop?
This was the blacksmith shop, yes.
Okay.
We missed, and across the street from this particular building was the original blacksmith shop.
Oh,
we missed that on our first trip through.
Yes, we did. So right now there's nothing there, some residents. Okay, very good, and we can continue. And it curves slightly to the right here and heading up another hill.
And this is the building here. This particular house had a piece where all the cedar trees are, where the grocery store was, or the dry goods store.
You're right. Okay, you're right, Charlie.
The store part is gone, but this is still the original resident area of the owner of the store.
Okay. Very good.
And now we'll come up to the original C.F. Heckman Company,
Okay.
the cheese factory, creamery.
That's right. Okay, and that large chimney, brick chimney was built by Ed's dad, is that right?
That was built by a Schmidt, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Oh, the actual builder of the one was Schmidt, okay.
Right.
So this was the factory.
This was the factory, yes.
Okay. And apparently the building is still being used today for other purposes.
And in between this building and Fran Heckman's building, Ed's house is back here, straight in there.
Okay, that's Ed's house back there.
And it's going to be hard to get a shot.
Yes, I see.
Maybe
after the...
Maybe past these trees here.
Okay, getting something there. Okay. Very good.
But this was his father and mother's house here. This is where Ed was born and raised, I believe.
Okay,
This house here.
This house here, okay. And we have an open field a little bit, but there's some new buildings here, and can you explain what that is, Charlie?
This is the new C.F. Heckman Company.
Okay. And it is run by whom?
I believe Warren Heckman is the president of the company, and I think Warren and Ed are still brothers that own it together, if I'm not mistaken.
And then there's a son involved here?
Bill?
Bill? Is he involved with them?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I know he helps out here and works here. I don't know if he's part owner or...
All right. Okay. It still has to be landscaped. It's that new of a building. And now we're heading back out of Spring Valley.
Right. And there's nothing else on this side of the road, and it kind of ends up at 42.
Okay, so we'll turn around at the farmer up ahead, and that should be our run through.
We get 10 to noon.
We do already.
7 minutes to noon.
Boy, that went fast.
Yeah. Well, we're having fun.
Yeah. We're here in front of Sessler's Tavern, which was a stagecoach layover for passengers to get a rest from the long trip from Milwaukee or from Green Bay. And this is Mr. Ed Heckman's vehicle. Charlie, do you know the year?
No, I sure don't, Jerry.
Okay. This was a vehicle, I believe, that was given to Ed by his dad, I think. And he kept it and restored it.
How did the equipment saw the logs? It's just gone. You know, it's a shame that,
really is.
you know.
Yeah.
No, when we were younger, we didn't think of that either. But now that we're older, now we...
Sure. There's a lot of value in knowing how did they settle this? How did they make a living? You know, no electricity. You know, there was no electricity. How did they do this stuff? You know.
No, we didn't have no electricity.
That's okay, Kathy. Why don't you join over there by Charlie, please? Charlie and Bert.
Yeah.
You don't have to take my picture.
Oh, we gotta have that, Bert. I just came upon my old friend Bert Schwartz, and we had many good years together playing ball for Osmond, and haven't seen him for so long, and it's great to hear his voice again and talk good old times here.
I was talking to Gary. I says to Gary, you gotta go with me to see Jerry this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah? No, I...
He's here.
That doesn't mean you can't stop.
This is a picture of the Sessler's Tavern.
Good. Don't see you very often anymore.
No, I'm out and around.
This used to be a stagecoach stop-off point, rest area for travelers. And this is a picture they have in the tavern portion here.
I got the pictures of it, where do we go yet?
Yeah, good.
I don't know if I can find it.
That's right.
Did they have the honeymoon show here?
This is some of the performances that they had here at the
We had it at Steinshop.
hotel.
Oh, just imagine, we were so fascinated at that kid, when you were two when that honeymoon show came. Doing it, she was just holding something, her body was behind the curtain. You know, after all, you forget how long that was.
Well, yeah, well, I guess probably some of us could remember, but then if you going to, me and Janet used to.
You don't know how many rooms this whole building consists
Maybe
of,
a
huh?
couple times a week. You gotta hang in there.
What relation is that Bob here to Michael here?
They could have been Churchill related. This was all here.
Yeah.
Joe, where Melvin Wiesner used to live, that was here. Where Colbs lived, that was here. Was here over there. It was here all
Here,
over.
there, everywhere. Here, everywhere. Yeah.
It could have been to Bobby, it could have been Churchill, maybe to his grandpa, maybe they were cousins and so.
Okay.
Valeria, do you have your book handy, your map book?
The what?
Your book of all your maps, or the map?
Here at Sessler's Tavern, and we found an old map here of the Meeme Township, and Ed, maybe you can identify yourself and indicate
Well, Ed-
what year this was put together.
Ed Heckman, I'm 71, and here we're looking at some of the people that were on these properties back in 21, well, which is 10
I know
years before
Victor
I was
Ryder has that
born,
right
but
up. No,
I
he does
did
too.
know some of them, you know, they
Mhm.
lived later, so the Sessler Meeme House would be right south of Spring Valley, and
Okay.
here you
It
have
was
some
something like that.
names from
Yeah.
early days, Boney, Herman Boney, David Lorfeld,
Okay.
my grandfather, and his father was William Lorfeld, was a Civil War vet, and just east of Spring Valley you got a Stein farm that were people by the name of Stein, and the Hawks were a very old name in the area. And also we're looking at the hares. And here there's a farm that still a hare on today, a relative I suppose of the Michael Hare that built the Meeme House. And who else do we have here? Oh, we got Otto Wagner up here just north of Spring Valley. That was a
Okay.
long time resident of the area, and John Schrum. So who else do we have here? Phillips was an old name in the area.
Okay. Well, I think we'll have to, next time around, we'll get this map out again.
Way down here we got a Grady, and O'Grady, and of course that might be some Irish, certainly some could be shirt-tail relation to Jerry here. I don't know, just being Irish.
Being Irish somewhere.
Yeah, the rest of the Irish lived up here in the Osmond area.
That is up here a little ways,
There
a
we
short
go,
distance.
right up there is Osmond.
Okay.
That was a
Right.
Irish stronghold.
Yes, yes it was. Well, this is very good.
What they did was come down here, which is a distance of about 3 miles, and they came down an Andro-Cyple mill and had their apples squeezed, and when that got a little hard, why they went home back to Osmond a little bit tipsy.
A little bit tipsy, I would say. Very good, Ed. Thank you.
Okay, Jerry.
Okay, Valeria, would you just like to introduce yourself, please? And I guess they're looking for some dates and so forth, and who might have built this beautiful building.
Well, I'm Valeria Sessler.
Hi, Valeria.
Hi.
And you have some information. Maybe, Charlie, you can re-indicate that
Sure.
question.
We talked that Michael Hare was the original owner or builder.
Right.
And then where did it go from there?
His son, William,
William was his son. And then he ran it. And then after there, it went to who?
to Pete de Groot.
And,
That was only for 3 years.
Okay.
I can't even talk.
Sure you can.
No, I hate this. I really do, I'm telling you. Then my dad bought it in 1909.
1909.
All right.
Yeah, and it's been our family ever since.
Wow.
And you're telling me that it's not what we call balloon construction, it's a timber frame building, so
Well, what I showed you,
it was actually built like they did in Europe.
Yeah.
With the timbers mortised and tenon and pinned together.
like a barn.
Like a barn,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Great.
Wow.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Valeria. We'll see you again.
Okay.
And when
That
you're-
didn't hurt too much, did it?
Not really, but I don't like to see that picture.
We're going up the old steps here from the Sessler Tavern below, and we're heading up into the hall area.
Jerry,
Hi there, Ed. Glad to have you join us here.
who's playing tonight?
I don't know. They talked about Romy Goss, but I don't think so. And here we have Fred joining us also. Had a good time yesterday. And there we have Warren.
Yep.
Glad to have you aboard. And we have-
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Charlie.
I come up the old worn pine steps and they are worn.
Yes, they are. And my goodness, it's
And we're up here in the hall in the Meeme Haus.
So all little kids, they all took you along and then you made us down and like it's thankful.
oh my goodness, my goodness. Was this set up nicely,
And
wasn't it?
underneath there is the puppet show that opened up, and a puppet show, I don't know how. Ask Darlene.
Darlene, could you identify yourself, please, and we'll get some information from you, okay?
I'm Darlene Limbersey, and
Hi,
my
Dar-
dad used to say that there's a trap door underneath there, and they used to have puppet shows years ago.
Oh, really? For heaven's sake.
And how long did you live here?
Me?
Yeah.
Till I got married, and then I moved next door.
So you're pretty much as a child on, you lived here? Oh, so you're pretty familiar with the building?
Yes, there's apartments downstairs, you know. There's apartments up here too.
And how many bedrooms are up here, you told me?
Well, there's one over there, and one there, and one there, and one over there. Oh, yes.
And that's old floor, isn't it?
Okay, we're up in the old dance hall area, and this is used for many, many meetings.
Too much grading for maple.
Yeah, it's not maple, no. It's an open grade.
My goodness.
We were looking at the hardwood floor here. and it looks
Okay,
like
Charlie.
It's made of oak,
Okay,
quarter sawn, I believe.
all right. Boy, this is fancy, huh? This is very neat. Even the furnishings are rather unique and antique-ish.
You went on.
Sure. Here was good enough to give us a little guided tour, and we're standing in a certain room of this big building. And what is it about, please?
I'm Darlene Limbersey again. This is just one bedroom that they used years ago from, I believe it was from Milwaukee to Green Bay, and they stayed
Okay.
over in stagecoaches,
Okay,
stayed here.
very good. And this is a large room for. Now, this was a bedroom for a couple, I would think, and it's rather large.
I think back then they were couples.
Okay. And how many rooms like this are in this building up here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's one on the other side, and then there's another one we use for storage, but it could be another bedroom. And
Okay.
then there's one on off the stage.
Off the stage also. So a,
Gee, and
a
we
total
should
of,
sleep here instead of the house barn, huh?
4, huh?
wow,
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Well, this is
very good.
Or
Okay,
five.
wonderful. You really keep this up. I mean, this is an old building and everything. Well done, well done. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A larger hall, and maybe you can indicate what it was used for in the past and what occasions might have been here, please.
Well, I believe there was a lot of town hall meetings and stuff, and anniversaries and birthday parties.
Okay,
That's what I remember it as.
all right. And I noticed a stage over on the other end of the hall. Do you recall any of the artists or people that may have come here for entertaining at all? Any names that might have come up? Or was it the bands that went in there?
I don't know offhand, no.
Okay. Okay. Anybody know the size of this particular room? Right off roughly what you'd think?
Charlie, what size is it?
Yeah, I would say 50 by 50. Yeah.
Okay.
9-foot high ceilings or 10.
All right. Okay. And does this room get used anymore at this time?
No,
Okay. Okay.
because there's, there's no bathroom up here and you have all the steps to go
Yes.
and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
Darlene, would it be possible for me and Jerry to go upstairs and take a picture of how the timbers are jointed together on top of the steps here?
It's kind of dark up there.
He's got a light on the camera to look dark, I would think.
Yeah.
And another thing I noticed on the structure is this rod here
Yeah.
that kind of holds the ceiling up.
Everybody kind of sees that.
What does that rod do, Charlie?
I would think the rod would be tied to one of the timbers up in the attic and they must hold the secondary floor up, I would think.
I'll bet.
Okay.
Darlene
Well,
wouldn't know.
I'm not that old.
very good. Okay. If we can do that, we'll try to get a little view of the timber structure in this building. And Charlie, you mentioned the wood in the flooring. What was that about again, please?
I believe it's oak wood, and some of it looks like it's quarter sawn.
What does that mean?
That instead of just taking a log and sawing slab after slab, they cut it in quarters first, and then you just cut so the grain is always facing the same way.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
It's more of an expensive cut of wood.
Ah, okay. All right. Now the stage, the back side of that stage, that would be the opposite side of the building. There's nothing behind that stage wall, is that correct?
Well, I think you can store stuff. There's a little room.
Okay.
A little bit that
All
you
right.
can store stuff, but,
Okay.
you slide it open. But Otherwise,
Very good. And we have a gentleman here who used this facility for his business purposes, and maybe Ed, you can indicate what you did here.
Well, back in the 30s and 40s, which I can remember, my dad used to have their cheese meetings here, which would have the farmers would be invited to the meetings, and they determined what the price for making cheese would be for the coming year. And of course, they had beer and,
Sure.
and all sorts of cheese sandwiches.
Okay.
And it was a good time.
Okay, very good, very good. I got to say, there's a lot of nostalgia here and a lot of antiquing as far as going back in time. It's very nice. I really appreciate it. Very good. Okay, I guess, Charlie, we're going to be make an attempt here to see if we can go up to the roof area.
Yeah, because I'm really interested in the structural old buildings, and
Okay,
that's my interest.
okay, very good.
How long would it take you?
You can show us something there. It's a sort of an antique, I would think.
yeah.
Can you give us something on that, Darlene?
Is it
It's a,
ice or was it ice or was it?
It's an ice box.
yeah, it's nice box.
It's an ice box.
An ice box.
Glasses in it now, but
Yes.
I would say it was a.
And years ago, you would go to work and you would buy a big chunk of ice, and you
Okay.
would put that perhaps in that,
What's in that upper right?
on the upper right side, you would put this big chunk of ice, and that's what kept the things cool.
Okay.
And you had to have a drip pan, right, because the big chunk of ice would melt.
Yeah.
So you had to catch the drop of the water.
And do you think they would buy this ice? Or
Well, there was no lake around here, right?
yes.
Or
Oh,
spring,
yes,
or
there
the
was.
dam?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They made
Where
ice
was
out-
the ice house around here?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
Of
Dad
course,
had
people
one.
had, we had one.
You had one, see, they probably got it from you then, though.
Well, I don't know.
That I
But
don't know.
We'll have to ask
Well,
Valeria
yeah.
if she remembers.
Sure.
I don't know if there's any, was there any other around?
I don't know of any other one.
Okay.
But I know Dad had one, and I know they made ice up at the Spring Valley Dam.
Okay. Discussion as to this cutout that's in the bar area here, and we all agreed that it might have been an area for an eighth or a quarter barrel of beer to be propped in there, and the tap being available for the customers. But now I think we'll start with this gentleman, if he can identify himself and indicate where he presides or lives at this time. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Warren Heckman, and I live in Spring Valley.
Okay. And how many years have you lived there, sir?
Oh, 79.
79 years. Wonderful. Okay. And another lady here could like to identify herself, please.
I'm Kathy Sixel, and I live at 9716 CTH County Trunk X.
Okay, very good.
Age.
Age? Oh, yes.
Get away with that.
I'm trying to keep up with her.
I lived there, I think 28 or 30 years. That's what you were referring to.
But you're older than that.
Yeah.
I'm Warren's brother Ed.
Okay.
I lived in this area
Okay.
almost all of my life.
All right. Very good.
Younger brother.
Younger brother. He pointed that out. And would you join us up here, please?
Okay, I'm Fred Krause. I've been living in this area for many years, actually from 1938.
Okay. Very
I
good.
moved out here.
All right. Thank you. And who do you have here, please? Darlene, if you want to do it one more time, please.
Okay, I'm Darlene Benbercy, and I all live next door now.
Okay. And you've lived here all your life also?
Yes.
Very good. And you, sir?
Charlie Bauer. I'm Jerry's friend.
Yes.
I'm just interested in the old buildings. It just
Okay.
fascinates me how they were put together.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 58,
Okay.
rather young.
Rather young.
Rather young to retire.
And the videographer, well, my name is Jerry O'Neill, and I live on Rangeline Road, and quite a few years since 1974, and I'm 66, had my birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Darlene's got to go, so we got to do this quick.
Yes.
I don't know if she wants me to take pictures of it.
They had some large, wide boards that they used to support this, and Charlie is interested in the timber framing of this building.
Right. Particular this connection here, I believe. You can see where this cross beam comes into the standing post here, and
Yeah.
this is mortise. This piece has a tendon, so it's mortised into here.
Yeah.
And you see this big pin they got put in here.
Yes, sir.
So this is definitely a timber frame building,
Okay.
which is built pretty much like those that were built in Europe.
All right.
It's rough cut 2x6
Okay.
for the rafters.
Yes, sir.
And I'm guessing the pitch of the roof is either a 10 or 12 pitch roof.
Okay.
And there's another hand-hewed timber right down here, which is going to be hard to see. But this is actually hand-hewed here.
Okay, I agree.
And you can see how all the floor joists are notched and set in here.
Okay. Yes, sir.
This is rather a really unique building, the way this is put together.
Okay, I see some strapping there too at this
Metal
point.
strapping across the top.
Okay,
How the joints are all put in like that. That's pretty interesting.
good. Very good, Charlie. Thank you.
And I want to point out the wooden pegs in the beam too, what they used to hang things on.
Oh, yeah.
To
It's
the
all
left of you, Jerry.
okay. Just 1 minute. Pigs support and hang things.
Just look
Okay.
at Charlie, how good the roof. I mean, it's not sagged or,
Yeah, isn't that something?
isn't that something?
Put together. No ridge board, never through the center.
No ridge board. Unbelievable.
Ah.
How they kept it straight then without that.
And the
Okay.
timbers, all the timbers here are the timbers here, they're not sawn, they're all hand hewed.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Unbelievable. Okay, it indicates the age.
You betcha.
Look at
Oh,
Look at
wow,
that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Isn't that fascinating?
Now you pull it back in and pull back the other seam, and my goodness, isn't that great?
Yeah, isn't that something?
Stage manager, Darlene.
It's a little tour of the upstairs area, which you can see on the larger building, and it's all wood-hewed timbers that hold it together, and it indicates its age, which is 1847. Unbelievable, well kept, well taken care of.
Democrats can come up here.
Yeah. The water to make the ice, or
Oh, they got it from Cedar Lake, and they got it from Yetzer's Lake, Seifels Dam.
Okay, there you go.
Proved out. There we go.
Wherever they could get it
if that ever there was ice, and then they stored it in the house in the
Yeah.
back and sawdust like
Yeah.
that, and so.
Wow,
Yeah.
great.
I remember when they took down Dad had an ice house too. I remember when
Yeah.
they took it down. What a fascinating part of all the sawdust that came out of the building.
How do you like the stage?
That is neat.
Isn't that
I've never
neat?
seen one built like that.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
The Historical Society was after me. Oh, the one year was terrible. They wanted it.
I'm glad you said no.
Yeah.
You know,
I says, why should I tear it out of there?
Oh,
right.
right,
Dennis said, if they come and pester you again, tell them to talk to me.
That's
There you
right.
go.
It's part
Yeah.
of his building, it's, the history is here, I mean, it's,
What do you think is gonna happen to your building?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
Darlene will run it.
Darlene, yeah.
Have a
She's-
bed and breakfast,
She's
a
part
museum?
of the family.
Yeah. No, well, I'm so glad that you and your husband and everybody.
Gary's at it
you-
again.
I get so used to that because every time I'm around, he's running the camera.
You took care of a wonderful building and you preserved it. That was so important. Thank you.
But Jerry, I'm gonna have.
Okay, we're here at the cemetery, and I'll have Ed Heckman describe where we are. So I'll be joining him very shortly. And we're here to review a few gravestones of the important ancestors that were part of Spring Valley's history.
Fidelis Cemetery. There was a Catholic church here
Okay,
at one time until about 1960,
all right,
and many of the area people are buried here.
all right,
We were just up at Valeria Schwartz. Her dad and mother are buried here, which their stone is right here to
okay,
my left. Minnie, her mother, and Joseph, her father.
all
Her
right,
brother Clarence, right next to him, and he was killed in 1939 motorcycle accident.
Oh.
So
okay,
we'll take a little tour of other stones around here, but that
Sure.
certainly is a big part of the Spring Valley and the Spring Valley area history.
very good, thank you. Located at the St. Fidelis Cemetery, and Ed had mentioned, and Fred, if you got a word or two to say about this gravestone.
Well, let's see, these, Schwartz's, I've known for many years, and not so much the elder couple, but the next generation.
Okay.
And,
All right,
but the cemetery is being kept up quite well now. It was a little while after the church was taken down that it was sort of left
okay,
in the rears a little bit, but there's always somebody that will step in and
Right.
make sure that everything is kept up nice.
well, it looks very nice. It's up on a nice hill. It overlooks the farmland in the background. I'll just pan over there a little bit. It's a very high point here, and very nice, peaceful. Thank you. Two gentlemen here, and they are brothers, and we'll talk to the older one. And he can identify himself, please, and indicate what we are standing in front of here.
I'm Warren Heckman. I've been living in Spring Valley all my life.
Okay,
And in my youth, we used to go over to the Sipple Mill,
okay,
and we're standing at the gravesite of Andrew and his wife Rose.
all right,
Andrew was born in 1880 and died in 1967.
all right,
And Rose was born in 1883 and died in 1960.
all right,
So spent many a happy day in my youth over at the
okay. Did any of you gentlemen ever work for the Sipple people as far as at the mills at all, or
No.
we just, they were part of a business of the Spring Valley area then?
Right.
Okay,
Kind of a center of the farming community there.
okay, very good. Thank you. Got the gentleman here who knows the answers, and we're standing in front of a gravestone, and he can explain that a little bit, please.
Standing in front of the Sipple gravestone, it's Roman, son of Andrew,
Okay,
born in 1908 and died in 1959, and his wife Ladvina. She was born in 1909 and died in 2001.
okay,
And Roman ran the mill after Andrew,
okay,
and then but they later sold it then.
all right. And do they have any children that are still here around the
None in
spring?
this area, I don't think. Huh?
Okay,
I don't think so.
all right, very good. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Here, and we're standing by another gravestone of interest. Could you give us some information, please?
Yes, we're standing at the gravestone of Frank Himmelsbach and his wife Sophia. And Frank was born in 1880 and he died in 1920, I believe, as a result of the flu epidemic of that time.
Okay.
And he built the present was a blacksmith shop. We own the building now.
Okay.
And it was built in 1913, and he also built our house.
All right.
About 1904.
Okay.
And he built the house next door for his mother. And I'm not sure when it was built, but the early teens sometime.
Okay.
So,
very good. And Ed, did this gentleman come from a different country, or was he born in America? Do you know?
Never heard Dad say anything about that. He did talk about Frank a lot. He was, I believe, 14 years older than my dad, but
okay.
But being blacksmith there, why they knew each other quite well. And
okay.
Someplace at home, I do have a book of my dad's running expenses.
Uh-huh.
What he bought wouldn't be well, he marked everything down, but
yeah.
In 1915 he has a buggy that he bought from Frank Himmelston.
Oh, really?
For $45.
Huh. Now, did he make any special product at all while as a blacksmith? Like some would be into plows and other things like that, or for wagons, rims? Did they do everything, or just have a specialized product, if you will?
I think pretty much general blacksmithing.
Okay.
I don't know as he had any special products.
I'm sure that they could repair and
most
build
anything
wheels because there was machinery there for in fact, there's still some
making wagon wheels.
Okay.
Because there's still up in the rafters up there. There's still some
forms up there.
Forms or
oh, really?
Wooden
huh.
parts of the wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
A couple of sleigh runners up there yet. Bobsled runners.
That sign, would you be able to take a picture of that?
Yeah, I might get that out.
Okay. Very good. Yes. Yeah. Now, did he have bellows to generate the oxygen, if you will, for the forge, or did he use other means? Do you know?
I think he had a hand-operated blower.
Okay. All right. I remember seeing some of that. Yes.
Rotary.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
If I remember from my youth.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Here by the cemetery, and we've come upon a gravestone that perhaps has some important names, and it looks like it's quite old and but well kept. Go ahead, Ed.
Yes, we're here at the gravestone of Michael Hare, and of course we had just been over to the Sessler's Meeme Haus, and Michael Hare built that thing in 1847.
Okay.
He did run it himself, and after that a son of his ran it, and of course this is long before my time, but Michael Hare is one of the originals in the area.
Okay. Okay. And I noticed the language, some of it I can't interpret. Could you give us something there, Ed?
So what did you say it was, Kathy?
What is it?
The word schlaf.
I should say it. Yeah, schlaf. Right. Sleep in peace.
Sleep in peace.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're talking German, schlaft is first.
Yeah, and then.
Well, you know, it's kind of.
Ru is rest.
It's
rest. Yeah. Or in other words, well, like you might say, sleep in peace. I mean,
okay.
Sort of will answer that. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And
what is
Ru is rest, and the other one is sleep.
Sleep. Oh. Schlaf.
Schlaf.
It doesn't have an L in it, but I guess that's how they
pronounce it.
Okay. All right. And I see the word for
Mutter and Vater.
Mutter and Vater.
Oh, Vater. Okay. You can tell this has some ancient time to it. Very unique gravestone, I must say.
Yeah, well, that's quite a nice stone.
Yes, it is.
Or as old as it is.
Yeah. Thank you very much. In the cemetery, and we've come upon a gravestone of an important name in the history of Spring Valley. And Ed, could you give us some information?
Well, we're at the grave of
oh, that's right. Sure,
Robert Hurdle, R.J. Hurdle.
Okay.
His wife Elizabeth.
All right.
Robert ran the grocery store in Spring Valley for many years, and it was all we needed in Spring Valley. It was truly a wonderful country store.
Okay. Could you read off some of those numbers or of their born date? And I'll let you put your glasses back on.
So let's see, once here, Robert was born in 1867 and died in 1935.
Okay.
And his wife Elizabeth was born in 1875 and died in 1951.
Okay,
so,
very good.
I got one other thing here, Ed, if you could relay again one more time. The lady that gave us the tour of the dance hall up there, Darlene, how does that fit with this hurdle here? Can you go through that family connection?
Darlene is a daughter of Bernard Hurdle.
Yes.
And Robert and Elizabeth here were Bernard's mother and dad.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So really this was...
her grandparents, huh?
Her
great-grandparents.
Great-grandparents. No, grandparents.
Grandparents, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there is a connection.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Through marriage. Yeah.
Through marriage, sure. Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cemetery here, and Mr. Bauer has volunteered to give us some information on a gravestone that there's somebody buried here and somebody we just talked to that's has their name on here also.
John and Valeria Sessler, and Valeria was the lady that now has Sessler's Bar, the one we just talked to, and her husband John ran it with her until he passed on here in '85.
Okay.
And according to the marker, he was a war veteran.
Okay. All right. And they presently run what place, Charlie?
Meeme Haus.
The Meeme Haus.
The Meeme Haus. They run that.
Sessler's Bar, Meeme Haus. Yes.
And did she indicate about how long they were at this? Do you remember anything there?
I know.
I know it's a long time, but oh, okay. Well, this is very nice, and thank you very much, Charlie.
Sure.